It was a little past midnight when the final bus left the city terminal. The streets were almost empty, as if the entire town had fallen asleep at once. Shops were closed, shutters pulled down, and only a few dim streetlights flickered against the wet pavement. A cold drizzle had just begun, and the road ahead looked like a long black river stretching into darkness. The driver, Kareem, had been driving this route for nearly 15 years. He knew every sharp turn, every cracked milestone, every broken signboard leaning beside the road. Night shifts never bothered him. Silence was something he had grown used to, but tonight felt different. The air inside the bus felt heavier than usual. The last stop before the highway was a lonely stand near an old banyan tree. Normally, no one boarded from there at this hour. Kareem almost didn't slow down. Then he saw her. A woman stood beneath the tree. She wore a pale white dress that hung loosely to her ankles. A thin scarf covered her head, partially hiding her face. She didn't wave, she didn't move. She simply stood there, waiting. Kareem hesitated for a moment, then stopped the bus and opened the door. She stepped inside slowly. Her footsteps were soft, almost soundless. She didn't look at the driver and didn't hand over any money. She walked straight to the last row and sat beside the window. Kareem watched her through the rearview mirror. Her head was slightly lowered. She didn't move, didn't look outside, and didn't even blink. The bus started moving again. Rain began falling harder, tapping against the windows in uneven rhythms. The engine hummed steadily as the bus left the city lights behind and entered the long forest road. Minutes passed. Inside the bus there was no sound except the rain and the engine. Then the bell rang. A sharp metallic ding echoed through the empty bus. Kareem gently pressed the brakes and stopped on the roadside. Trees surrounded both sides of the road, their branches swaying in the wind. He opened the door and waited, but no one came down. He looked in the mirror, and the woman was still sitting in the last seat. He frowned and thought she must have pressed it accidentally. He closed the door and drove on. 5 minutes later, the bell rang again, this time louder. The road was darker here. No houses, no lights, only darkness and the sound of wind moving through leaves. Kareem stopped again and opened the door. Nothing happened. No footsteps and no movement. Now, a strange uneasiness crept into his chest. He stood up from the driver's seat. The bus interior looked longer than usual. The dim yellow lights flickered slightly as he began walking toward the back. Each step echoed unnaturally loud while the rain outside intensified. He reached the last row, and the seat was empty. The woman